Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host Ray Goots, and what a day! Right now in New York City. There's a parade for the Knicks. Of course, the Knicks won thanks solely due to Dannhausen. He uncursed them, and then after 53 years, the Knicks won. It's kind of hard, You tell people 53 years, Kyle. First of all, Kyle Lewis on the show. Me, how you doing, Kyle?
Great. The Knicks are celebrating right now, so good
Yeah,
times.
it's kind of hard. Like you tell people 53 years, they don't get it, and then you like put things into like perspective. Like Jaws wasn't out yet, and Jaws came out in 75. Basically, that started the summer movie season, which I've known a crazy movie summer my entire life up until this summer, right? Jaws, Vince McMahon wasn't working for his father yet when the last time the Knicks won. And not only does he go to work for his father, he buys the company, creates WrestleMania, retires in disgrace, sells it to TKO. All these things happen. Hulk Hogan wasn't wrestling it. He was working on the docks as a longshoreman. And he started wrestling, became the biggest star. Jim Crockett's father, all these things that we see now is like ancient history, like oh, it's always been there. Didn't even happen when the Knicks first last won the title, and that's why it's such a big deal for so many people from New York and fake white bitches who moved to New York a week ago and pretend that they're New Yorkers. Kyle, your thoughts on the Knicks?
No, it's awesome. It's awesome to see. I saw the game with my family, the last game, because we've been longtime Knicks fans forever, them more than me. I remember my specific jumping off point of basketball was my birthday, June 19th, 1994, and the Knicks lost to the Rockets. Well, I didn't lose the season, but they lost to the Rockets. But that same night, Owen Hart, who I loved, beat the 1-2-3 kid, and I don't know what's real and what's fake yet. But I was like, this is what I'm gonna watch because the guy that I want to hear won, and the team that I didn't win, I'm not gonna watch basketball because this disappointed me and this didn't. But I was always still not only by family, but just always just kind of in the background supporting the Knicks, and it's been a long, 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 long time. So to see, and you've been seeing almost like the finish the story like currently if we're gonna turn it into wrestling with the WrestleMania 39 you thought it could happen like a couple years ago you thought it could happen with the Knicks it didn't happen and then this is like the WrestleMania 40 where like it does happen and now they are the champions they are currently celebrating right now in the city so like it's just wonderful to see it's wonderful for my family to experience that other people's families I've seen
Mhm.
videos of people celebrating with people who are no longer with us because this is just something they've grown up with, trying to see this next victory. And it's very feel good. I don't necessarily agree with destroying cabs and all the other bullshit that like fake New Yorkers are doing, but just the heart of this is wonderful. And the city, people are happy. People are very happy right now, just all over New York.
Yeah, well, people over here have no opinion on it, but I'm happy, so that's good.
I can imagine.
So the one thing I want to talk about tied into wrestling is what's been happening with Danhausen because I don't think Bully Ray. I never agree with Bully Ray. Bully Ray said a team of 300 WWE writers couldn't write the story arc of what has happened with him the last few months, and so Danhausen I guess a month or two ago, I don't know when the playoffs started, uncursed the Knicks. And when I saw he did that, I didn't think much of it. I was just like, oh, he's being silly on ESPN. And at the time, people were complaining, and I kind of agree with them. WWE made this stupid deal with ESPN. Now Danhausen's on there doing stupid shit, right? But he uncursed the Knicks, and I'm like, whatever. And I'm just assuming the Knicks are going to get. I'm not paying attention. I just they're going to get eliminated in the first round. And that's another fucking year. And then the Knicks started winning, and they started winning, and they've had one of the greatest playoff records ever. The only time they lost was when Trump went to the building, and his curse powers are more powerful than Danhausen's uncursing powers in
Yeah, I
WWE.
guess so.
And then immediately as soon as he left, the Knicks had this incredible luck. I mean, they were down 29 points in game four. and then they came back and won the biggest comeback in NBA final history. And then again, they came back from a huge deficit in game five and won the whole series. And when they won, I had made a decision that I was going to buy. I always had this decision, but since the 90s, I'm buying commemorative merch for when they win. And I bought three things, spent $150, whatever. If you count this hat that I bought while there's the playoffs still happening, and then I bought also Brunson shirt, 250, but whatever. So I bought two things from the Knicks. I bought the hat and I bought a shirt. But then I went to www.shop.com because I saw this on Square Circle Reddit. There's a Dan Champhausen shirt. Did you see this one with Dannhausen?
Not this one.
It's a
Oh wait, I
champ,
did. It says Champhausen or something like that, and he's on the front, right?
yeah, with the Knicks logo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't buy WWE shirts at full price. I always wait for a huge sale, and I'm sure in 2 years the shirt will be $4 when Danhausen gets canceled for going to the White House with Nate Bargatze. But at the time, I was like, I paid full, and when you pay full price, you're close to $50 now for a WWE shirt. But I paid full price for this shirt because I was like, I need it, and I'm always gonna remember this moment. And that to me, I barely watch WWE right now. I refuse to get ESPN Plus. I'm livid about the network, but they got me to pay full price for a WWE shirt because of this Knicks thing and this Danhausen thing. And Danhausen has been brought up on Jimmy Fallon. And we're gonna go back to a criticism I have. But Danhausen has been commented on Jimmy Fallon. I think he's at the parade today. If he's not on a float, I'm sure WWE has him there. He had a great segment with Liv Morgan on Monday. It's
Yeah, that
just
was fun.
an incredible turn of events for this guy because WWE could fire him tomorrow, and he's probably going to live off the legend of what he did with the Knicks. He could probably go to conventions and sporting and stand with Brunson and sign autographs until the end of time. Just an incredible turn of events for Danhausen. It's probably the best thing in WWE today. It's certainly not the Bloodline, which they all should be fired. What is your thought on Danhausen?
No, I mean they've done a good job since having him. I mean, even the first intro, which everyone lost their minds over, but I was like, something's gonna play out. They're not gonna let this happen the way it was and then not work with it. Um, so from the first jump, they've been just firing on all cylinders with Danhausen. This is just depending on how you feel, it's very, very lucky, or the curse actually worked, or the uncursing actually worked, the curse and uncursing, depending on how you feel. But I think using him, at least on the show, in the small doses, like the Liv Morgan one, Friday, he had a really nice sketch with the Miz and Kit Wilson where the Miz was just regurgitating old catchphrases because he was electrocuted, and that in WWE they don't know how electrocutions work because one gave Goldust Tourette's, and then this is the Miz's brain is fried, I guess, but whatever. Um, yeah, so they've been hitting gold with him. I know people keep debating the fumbles and AEW and things like that, but I think even if he was with AEW, he would not have reached that level. There's just something about WWE's sheer need and desire and want to market to everything. When they see an opportunity like that, shove it in your face, and usually it backfires. And this time it's worked out. It's worked out for them. It's great for Danhausen. It's somebody who's been working his ass off for years. And look, he's gonna have a giant line at Fanatics Fest when he goes, and like you said, he'll be made, especially in New York, for life. Maybe don't bring him out when they go back to San Antonio, but he'll at least be cheered in New York.
Because I think the next, whether it's the NFL playoffs or the MLB playoffs, he's going to have to uncurse another team soon. They got to be careful because they've got to be careful with who he uncurses because if he uncurses let's say he uncurses the Mets and then they win, well they're not going to win. It's already over. I think that season. But if they uncurse another team that's been waiting years and they win in another market, I mean, he's going to be a billionaire. But they've got to be careful. They've got to be selective. it goes around every season cursing people and they lose. It's just like,
I feel like they're gonna try and stop it after this. They're gonna be like, he's gonna be like, I did one. It's too much pressure or something like that.
I think what I would do is like no one thought the Giants were going to win in 2008. Um,
Mm,
I think if you see a team like that, because my friend was like, I think they're going to pull it off. You see a team like that where people have not thinking about it, and you have them uncurse them, and then they win. But I think you need to wait. Like he
yeah,
can't go uncurse the Dallas Mavericks next week.
yeah.
So fucking just bury the gimmick into the ground. But my other thing about, so many AEW people were like, oh, Danhausen wouldn't work in AEW. We only have one style. And I still don't think people really understand why WCW almost drove WWF out of business. And one of my favorite WCW pay-per-views is Bash at the Beach '96, where Hulk Hogan turned heel. And the reason why that show works is you kick off the show with Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis, which is state of the art wrestling, even for 2026. By the way, we're coming on the 30th anniversary of that pay per view next month.
Hmm.
Um, you then go to like a Southern style big man clash between like Tenta and Ray Trailer. Then you get like this crazy, like hard hitting Japan tag with Kevin Sullivan and the Giant versus Arn Anderson and Benoit. You have all these different styles, and then at the end of the show you have this big sports entertainment moment, which is Hulk Hogan turning heel. And I think that's why WCW did so well. I was overtaking WWF in the ratings. It's because it's like Dusty Rhodes used to say, wrestling is a buffet, and we have to have something for everyone.
Hmm.
And I think that the biggest thing holding AEW back.
Oh man, that was off camera.
You okay? You're good.
No, I thought I was muted.
Because like
So sorry,
I,
guys.
I don't blame AEW. I blame I think WWE's influenced places like AEW more than they say. Where WWE is a house style, so I think AEW thinks they have to have a house style. You don't see variety that much in WWE anymore, at least in terms of in ring. But I think you're
No,
right with WCW
their
over.
their variety is. I was talking about this the other day. They have 5 shows, which is exhausting for any fan.
Mhm.
If you don't like Raw, you like the matches on SmackDown. If you don't like how SmackDown is, there's the NXT people. You have the Evolve people. You have the LFG, more reality based stuff. So like that's where I think their variety comes from more now. And I don't know about you. I'm not watching all 5 shows.
I
It's
only watch Raw when I have nothing going on. I don't even. I haven't watched SmackDown since I moved over here.
fair enough. But that's where a lot of variety comes.
Yeah, but my thing is, I think AEW feels like they have to have the house style, which is like 40-minute bangers from everyone, including Evil Uno. And I think that's the mistake. And I think, no, but that's a flaw that you can't make Danhausen work at AEW. You can. And here's the other thing, Tony Khan is an NFL owner. So like there was a way for him to incorporate Danhausen into sports. I think that but I'm also not going to hold it against them because again, these series of events are so insane that you can't predict them. And the Knicks could have choked, and this is all for nothing. But there was a way, like you need to incorporate these other things. the, I think the secret to beating WWF, which no one has tried, or WWE, is that you need a variety. You need something for everybody, and it works. It all meshes together. The problem with WCW, which we're going to see, is that when these new guys got over, they didn't incorporate them into the ongoing NWO saga, and eventually people lost interest. You watched Rey Mysterio Psychosis in '96. You're going to assume by '99, Rey Mysterio is going to be a top guy, and he's still doing the same shit in '99, which we're going to get to. Um, so it's like that was the problem, but there is a way to have like WWF '80s style matches and New Japan style matches and Southern style matches and have everyone kind of come together. And yeah, I just think that it's a flaw that AEW can't make a Danhausen work. So
I think in his case there were multiple. There's always something else going on. There were the CM Punk rumors. He was a Punk guy, so that was held against him. Or maybe he said something to the wrong person. I don't know. There was always some extra thing going on there. Because when they did use him, people liked him. I remember people liked him when he was like cursing Adam Cole and stuff. People were fans, but I think that's what happened there. As for their variety, and I don't think they want to beat WWE. I think they just want to be in the game. I think nobody is trying to beat WWE anymore because WWE just has so much money and all these extra. Bryan Danielson was talking about it. He was like, "We they have all these extra resources and contracts and all this stuff. So like AEW is just gonna do their thing, and it seems like WWE just tries to take them out with the counter programming and all that stuff with NXT, by the way, which is not on fire. No disrespect to anybody who's there right now, but Tony D'Angelo versus Evil is not something that I'm going to, even though it's on the WB. If you, I'm leaning towards AEW, and I'm not even crazy about Forbidden Door right now either. But so
Both,
they,
both football, both shows.
the cards. I mean, I like the Starlight Kid, Tekla. I don't like the idea of doing the 10-man tag that they did on Wednesday, and then now 12-man, and then doing it now in a cage the next week. It just seemed kind of counterproductive. Um, and whatever's going on with the Owen tournaments, like so they have good you know, I always say at AEW you're gonna have good matches, but yeah, I don't think they care about trying to beat them. So I think that's just another.
Also making the show interesting. I mean, that's the other thing that WCW had over them is that
Yeah.
that show is interesting because you just keep getting different fun shit, and it makes Rey Mysterio and Psychosis stand out more when
Mhm.
Ray Trailer is wrestling the next
Oh,
match.
that's what I was gonna say. They even their fan base I think doesn't allow it as much either. They do have the sports entertainment aspect now. They have Leo Rush. They have Andrade. It's like how you know and whatever the hell Jericho did a couple weeks ago. But like the Mina Shirakawa thing I mentioned a couple weeks ago, it's a different variety, and it was silly that they were doing boob shakes, but you would have thought they again were on the White House lawn, the way people reacted.
I but the other thing is they need to move. They need to start chasing away the blue sky fans. I mean, they need they need to like I want everyone. My mission if I took over AEW is to have all the blue sky fans stop watching. That would be my mission, because I think they're holding the company back from being something truly special. So,
No, those are their guys. They're day ones.
well, that's why the show
I
hasn't
don't
improved.
yeah, I don't keep up with Blue Sky
Oh,
wrestling.
there's more fans on the planet. They are every day they announce how good of a person they are because they don't watch WWE, and
I
apparently that's
just
what.
see Twitter wrestling who hates Jey Uso.
I love
Uh,
the hate for Jey Uso. It's just like I don't hate Jey. I hate the bloodline. I hate that they've reversed course with everybody. I hate Roman Reigns being in charge of everyone again. But I don't hate Jey Uso. I just think that this is a disservice to the Heat Man to have him be a bitch again. But whatever.
yeah, we'll see what they do.
Oh, I hope Javon beats him on SmackDown. But
That would be nice. I do hope that does happen. I don't think it is. I think the plan is that he's gonna Jay Oba's still gonna win, and you're gonna have Oba fight not only Brock but Roman night one and night two. Like you're gonna really push this guy to the moon. And like Brock's gonna take it out of him, and like, can he beat Roman? Technically, you can give Roman Reigns a match too. I don't see Roman doing two matches again,
no.
unless SummerSlam's really, really bad in the ticket sales. Um, but that's what I see it going. But I could be wrong because I don't see Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso happening at SummerSlam unless CM Punk is like really not back for a while.
Yeah, I think that CM Punk realized he was more banged up than he thought, and they just quietly gave him time off without saying that he was hurt. Because I don't think the plan was for CM Punk to take time off, but he's an old man, and he killed himself the last few months, and I think he needed some time to recollect his comic books. So that's what I think happened.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, hey, it could be Jey Uso Gunther. We don't know again for the world championship, which
And no more Jey
I'm
Uso.
good.
No more Jey Uso. I'd rather Jey Uso. All right. So here we go. Capital Carnage. This is the second UK only pay-per-view. Um, so this was the first one though that you could buy. Like one night only I had on VHS, but like I think I wasn't supposed to have it. Like it wasn't officially released here, but somehow I got an official release, and of course I fucking gave it away to Goodwill or sold it or something. I should have
Hmm.
kept all the wrestling VHS tapes I had. But also then you have to factor in the cost of moving. Whatever, I'm happy with my life. Fuck you, Tony Khan. But
Yeah.
this was sold in the video stores, and I bought it. So starting with this one, they actually put these on VHS. Uh, but from what I can tell from the show, I don't think that was the plan. I think the plan was people in UK see this and we don't have to see it because this definitely feels a little bit more freewheeling and a little bit more like telling of how Vince really feels about things. This show. Um, but I overall felt like it was a pretty fun house show. Like if I went to a house show in this period of time, this was the show, I'd have a great time, but it doesn't have that much consequences. What did you think of the show?
Yeah, it's just kind of there. I didn't really think that much of it. I know that's the general consensus of most of the UK pay-per-views. There's little continuity errors here and there, which they have to explain, like Mark Marrow and things like that, because he was supposed to leave WWE, especially the UK. They aired Raw on Fridays.
Yeah,
Apparently they used to have Raw and then Nitro on their Friday night. So what a time to be a young kid
Big Friday.
watching watching Raw and SmackDown on a Friday. I'm sure. Like this, you got no homework for school the next day. That's awesome. Um, yeah, that's what they used to do. And then like the weird things like the Tiger Ali sing like match and like
Oh, we'll get into
Drew.
that. That was weird.
Yeah.
That
So
was
it's just
fast selling on themselves. We'll get into that.
yeah, so it's just a lot of like little weird things here and there, but it's fine. Like I don't think if you've never seen this pay-per-view in your life, you're not missing anything. If you do see it, I don't think it adds much value, but there's some fun stuff here.
Yeah, when I bought it on VHS tape, because I bought it at Suncoast at the 34th Street Mall.
Mm.
It was a fun, like, my homework's done. The Simpsons is a rerun. Family Guy hasn't debuted yet. I don't even know if that's a thing coming into my life. So can I shut my brain off for a few hours and watch wrestling? And that's what this VHS tape did back then. So I mean, sometimes I do feel like there's value in shows like this more so than every show being the end of the world. I think people forgot that sometimes you can just shut your brain off for a little bit and watch some wrestling matches. Not every match has to advance a storyline that honestly isn't being that well told anyway. So, you know,
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about AEW. They
yeah,
have a lot of matches, sometimes they don't go anywhere. This isn't a
you
diss, but sometimes they just have matches that are matches for the sake of matches.
but the
So
thing is, those pay-per-views are 9 hours. I'm talking about like an under 3 hour pay-per-view with a bunch of fun, dinky matches. Speaking of fun,
that's fair.
speaking of fun, dinky matches, let's start with the first one. It's Gangrel versus Al Snow. Man, I think they need to bring back Gangrel's theme song, give it to somebody. I do. I think
Oh,
it's,
it's too iconic for them.
but I mean, like Gangrel's not gonna. Gangrel can give it. They can bring Gangrel in and give it to somebody. It should be a Shawn Michael. It should be. It's a theme for like a guy who's on the level of like Shawn Michaels or Undertaker. That's there for like 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a main eventer theme. But it's him versus Al Snow. This was a fun little match. There was a chance of we want head. I thought they were saying we want Edge at first, and then I was like, oh wow, Edge is.
He came out. Yeah,
And
there
then
he is.
actually it's head. They want head. Gangrel wins as he should. Um, I think Gangrel should have been in the company longer. He was actually he's better than Al Snow. I don't like Al Snow. Everything. Al's one of the guys the running joke used to be like he stunk, but then like you watch these shows, like no, he actually stunk. But yeah, fun little match, and I'm glad Gangrel won. It's always good to see Gangrel in the Attitude Era. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this was Gangrel was still getting pushed at this point. He talks about it. I wish I can remember. There's a reason that he doesn't like that they let him go. It wasn't like
Was it Luna?
budget cuts. No, it wasn't even after Luna. It wasn't budget cuts. He did something, and then they let him go for it. But I think and this is still a problem with WWE. Outside of The Undertaker and Kane, any type of gothic, mystic, dark character, I could be missing one or two. Outside of these guys, they don't really have a long ceiling. Like that's kind of the worry for the wrestler Tatum Paxley, who seems to be wrapping up on NXT any moment now. She's a little goth lady and awkward little goth girl. Did great with Lyra Valkyria, but when she goes to Raw or SmackDown, who knows what's gonna happen? Happened to Shotzi, but and she's not even golf. So that I think was what happened with Gangrel, which sucked. They kind of took him out of that whole brood when the whole tag team thing happened. They kind of phased him out of it, and even with Kevin Thorne, he was supposed to come back, and they phased him out of that too. I think they just didn't know what to do with him, and he's a talented guy, but 98 was his ceiling, which sucks. As for the match, it was quick, it was painless. The Brood was kind of confusing me because Gangrel is clearly like a heel here, but then later in the night, Edge and Christian are the faces. I don't know. I think they were just putting on matches to put on matches, but it was fine.
Yeah, I didn't think I don't think they thought they were gonna put this on VHS tape. They did because
Yeah.
the next one, like especially the Rebellion '99, which they directly reference on the next Raw. I'm like, you got to get the VHS tape. They actually start having storylines
Hmm.
carry on to Raw. Like, you know what I
Okay.
mean? It's not
Hmm.
like it's so I think like they realized like, oh, we need to actually have these tie into Raw and stuff or
Yeah.
SmackDown.
Also, his theme music is one of the best ones like ever produced by Jim Johnson. I think it's universally agreed that his theme song is in a lot of people's like top 10. Not like Edge, not like the ones that are done with like bands, like actual produced WWE, WCW theme songs. He's in a lot of people's top 10s, top 20s even, because it was
Yeah.
so good.
All right. So next match, really quick on Bischoff's podcast. Bischoff, he's fired. He gets fired at the end of '99. Vince Russo takes over in WCW, and then Brad Siegel calls him up and asks him to come back. And he says to him, the problem with Vince Russo is a lot of his stuff is just really dark. And as we get into
Mhm.
the mid card angles for the next few matches, this is a period where his stuff does get dark. And the problem with a lot of stuff is there's no payoff. And the
Mm.
first thing I'm talking about is LOD 2000 versus the Headbangers. Jim Ross says on air, and I actually I want Michael Cole or Pat McCaffrey to say this on air now. I want to see the reaction on Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky. Hawk attempted suicide 2 weeks ago.
He did say that.
I was like, wow, they just went for it. Obviously, Draw shoved Hawk off the Titantron. So this is the problem with this angle. There is no payoff. Draws eventually just stops hanging around the LOD. The LOD come back with Paul Ellering for like two appearances around WrestleMania 15, then get fired. Um, this was a waste of time, and this was. I'm wondering, like, I want to say to, like, I would love them to do something like this to Brock Lesnar, where your mission you can't tell me. JBL argued that Vince never books people, never hires people to bury them. You can't tell me that this was any way, shape, or form him trying to get over the LOD. This was to bury them, and to the point where I don't think the LOD is held in a reference that they should be because of this shit that was on fucking national TV at the hottest period where Hawk is attempting suicide and Animals look like a fucking idiot. Anyway, the LOD 2000 lose to the Headbangers. Then they get into a brawl. This sucked. Like again, like you wouldn't do this to CM Punk. You wouldn't do this to AJ Styles. It's just like you were trying to ruin them, and you succeeded, and it just really annoys me because man, the Legion of Doom was something special, and they went out of their way to to fucking destroy their legacy. Don't tell me they did. Kyle, your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think it's a testament to the Legion of Doom Road Warriors because they were still popular even up until Hawk's last match on Raw
Hmm.
that we saw, not the dark match. That the crowd went crazy when the LOD came out and lost to Rob Van Dam and Kane. But people still when in 2003, people were still excited to see the Legion of Doom, especially at a time when you saw like older wrestlers from the 80s, early 90s. You're like, oh my God, no. But their legacy was so strong that they still have that love and momentum from the 80s, early 90s. Even when they come out here, the crowd is excited until they see draws, and they're like, "Oh fuck," and they're unhappy about it because people wanted to see LOD 2000 as dumb and as the gimmick was. People still wanted to see Hawk and Animal. What the deal was with why maybe it was one of those I didn't create it, so I want to destroy it things that he likes to do. Vince McMahon allegedly liked to do. Maybe that was it, but like, there's no reason that the Legion of Doom Road Warriors should have a WWE career this bad. But unfortunately they do. And the match was the match. Headbangers are kind of floating around until their careers change.
And
And
they're not as good as they were a year ago. You know?
no, I mean they got nothing to do. They're heels, and I know soon Thrasher gets hurt, and then Mosh becomes Beaver Cleavage. That's all down the line, which doesn't help anybody. And yeah, that's just a very skippable match. No,
Yeah,
they fight at the end.
yeah,
Animal
yeah.
draws, which I was like,
I
oh, at least he beat him up.
I just if JBL or Bruce Prichard looked me dead in the face, it's like, oh no, we weren't trying to bury Legion Doom. This was to try to get him over. But okay. So then on Monday, have Brock Lesnar show up drunk and have Brock Lesnar attempt suicide on the ramp in front of Obafemi. And oh no, oh no, we can't do that. Why? Don't you think it's going to get Brock Lesnar over if he's drunk who attempts to kill himself? I think it's going to get him over. People are really going to be invested in Brock. You like you would like people would just be like, oh, I guess they hate Brock that he's trying to kill himself.
They think people hate. They think that they WWE hates LA Knight because he doesn't win a match.
I know
So imagine that. Like
this was
they'll
such a great
put
idea
yeah.
on Monday.
No, I mean that's the thing about those podcasts. I feel like a lot of the times they'll give you grains of truth, but they don't give you all the truth, or as more truth than you would like. And when they want to stick to their guns about something, or not tell you what's in the sauce, they do it. And like, I know some of them, Conrad would like get mad at Bruce, like this is a bullshit answer, and he would just keep a straight face. But
And people go like,
uh,
why would he spend millions of dollars on like the Legion of Doom to bury them? Because he doesn't want the Legion of Doom to mean anything anymore anywhere. And which
he's
they
getting the
don't.
merch money anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, which they don't.
Yeah, I mean they were I don't know what happened after 98 with them. I don't know if they took hiatus or they were in Japan. Um but yeah, I mean by the time they came back, unfortunately Hawk passed and then the Animal he came back a couple years later and it was just kind of sad to have
Yeah,
him by himself. Like no you don't want to see it.
yeah.
Like
So it's like because he doesn't
they're
see
in
them.
TNA I guess a couple times, which is
Yeah,
nice.
and it's the same reason why like he had Hogan like lose so much in 2002. It's so you don't matter if you start to create your own company, you don't matter because I've shown that Brock can just annihilate you. So all right.
I was
Um,
actually happy with Hogan losing. It was a surprise.
I mean, it was
He
good.
didn't lose to like Hardcore Ali. He lost to like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
He did lose. Him and Edge did lose to Christian and Lance Storm, which I would have had it. Looking back, I would have had it be maybe Christian and Test. I think would have been
Who
better.
took the pin?
I
Do you
think
remember? Oh, that's a surprise.
I can't remember, but I remember that being like that was the one match where I was like, you can get more out of Hogan than Lance Storm and Christian. It is funny that he wrestled Lance Storm and Christian on pay per view. That is like you really are playing ball at that moment, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't. If that's the case, I'm surprised he didn't raise a stink about it.
I think that's why when they because they wanted him to come back for the Survivor Series in 2002.
Yeah, he was gonna face Brock, right? And he
He was
thought he
like,
was
I'm
gonna win.
leading now, and all right, I did enough losing. I'm winning now, but I'm glad he beat Sean. Sean, fuck that. All right, here we go. There's a recap, and again, this is what I mean by dark. It's starting to get really dark. The storylines here, where Undertaker's trying to put Kane in a body bag and send him to an insane asylum because that's what you do, Kyle. I don't know if you knew this, but if you feel a family member needs professional help, you beat them up, you shove them in a body bag, and then you hand them to the insane asylum. It's just like, oh, great. Oh, thanks for
Apparently.
and then Undertaker gets put in the body bag, and the fact that they're sending, the fact the storyline is we're gonna send this guy to the insane asylum is just like it's so like over the top insane. And then we get another dark angle that has no payoff that wouldn't happen nowadays. Terry is pregnant by Val Venus, and Val Venus live on the air on television says, "That's not my problem." He's still a face, by the way. It's not my
Yep.
problem. It's your problem. And then she tries to go back to Goldust, who tells her to forget about him. And she doesn't factor into this match. But, just Terry Reynolds now a single mom, pregnant with her second kid. And again, there's really, well, the pregnancy is fake because D'Lo accidentally shoves her off. So she wasn't really pregnant. But remember, she
Isn't
shot.
that how D'Lo Brown turns face or something?
Yeah, because he realized that she's like taking advantage of him, and then he realizes that,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
and then she forms PMS, and it's a whole thing.
Pretty
Uh,
mean sisters.
pretty, but there's no
Oh my
payoff.
God.
There's no like, see, because in my mind it's like nowadays, okay, Lyra Valkyria tells Obafemi that he got her pregnant. I just imagine the fucking
Oh
reaction.
my God. What kind of
And Obafemi goes,
edge takes the pin, by the way.
okay. Obafemi goes, that's not my problem, right? Obafemi goes, not my problem. Okay, so then Lyra Valkyria brings in someone. Let's say brings in Evil to take out Obafemi because like you're not gonna. That would be my.
This is
The only reason to do this is it sets up a match. But the fact that it doesn't set up anything, and it's just like she's a lying bitch.
do not ever play GM mode. Just storyline like that. The WWE story designers in the video games.
Can you
But
imagine? This is the role I want on Monday to see the reaction. Brock Lesnar tries to kill himself and has a drug problem. Lyra Valkyria tells Obafemi that he impregnated her, and he goes, "I don't care." Imagine the reaction to those two
oh
things.
my God. I'm not a chat GPT user, but you gotta it's, I would put that in and be like, book this Raw, book a 2026 Raw Attitude Era style and add these storylines and see
Just,
what it says.
just
Again, I'm not a chat GPT user, but
the essays that people would write from Fightful about those two angles. All right, but it's Val Venus
that
versus
material for
Goldust.
years.
Oh my God, Val Venus versus Goldust. This match kind of felt like a step back. They were having good chemistry in October. This is a little bit of step back, but Val Venus does pin Goldust, but then Goldust beats him up, hits the Shattered Dreams. The crowd likes it, so it is what it is. Again, like I said, I thought Goldust was on a bit of a come up. He found his groove again, and this feels like his groove is off. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, it's just kind of there. I did like how the camera shook with the Shattered Dreams. That was
Mhm.
fun. But also, these are two people who are supposed to be faces again. That you like. Venus, to our knowledge, is not a heel. Goldust, to our knowledge, is also not a heel. He was just cheered last week for last year for coming last month for coming back as Goldust. So I don't get what the point was. Besides, I guess doing whatever's going on with this Terry storyline. But
Mhm.
again, it feels like it was a house show card that we weren't supposed to see. And this is, the house show has the loops. So some of these matches are like, the feuds are kind of on their way out, but they still have the match. And we just had this, we're able to watch this on TV.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's funny in another world. I feel like Valvini is like one day we're gonna main event WrestleMania, and like no, it doesn't happen.
That did not happen.
The next segment is wild. This is a wild segment. So first of all, Vince McMahon does give a lecture at Oxford University, and you can tell the person introducing him very tongue in cheek. But at the time, I remember the newsletters. This was considered a very big deal to McMahon, the company, that he got to do this. So they kind of downplay it. I feel like nowadays they would
Oh,
throw
forget about it.
that he got to lecture at Oxford, but back then they don't do it. But it was seen as like, oh wow, this is great, and look at what we've accomplished in a year, you know. Um, but then I'm sure Oxford University is like, why do we do this? Because they come out. Shane McMahon accuses Vinnie Jones, who is a foot. I forget that he played soccer, but then he becomes a character actor, Vinnie Jones, who's going to be the guest
Mm.
informator. He accuses him of being gay and sleeping with George Michaels. I guess George Michaels recently came out of the closet. And then Vince McMahon shits on tea time and then says that one day someone of Pakistani descent will rule the country, as if that's like really bad. Uh, Turns out that was going to be New York City, and it's worked out great. But
It
this is
has.
a homophobic, racist segment. This felt MAGA before MAGA. Um, this is really like a mask off of how do we really feel, and I feel like they wouldn't get like this in America at the time. But it's a pretty dark set. Again, this is another like pretty dark segment. Like fuck gay people, fuck Indian people, and fuck Indian people continues. But what did you think of this promo segment with these guys? They also announced that The Rock is going to fight X Pac and Triple H will fight Jeff Jarrett. What did you think of this whole thing?
It was weird. They cut out a lot of things when they had to do these Peacock stuff and do the translations back to Peacock. Surprises kept it. Maybe they didn't look at Capital Carnage because it was a UK pay-per-view and they were like, no one's gonna be watching this one anyway. But I would have taken it out. I guess if it was up to me. If they were doing the cuts, I would have taken it out. I don't, especially with today's climate, I would have just been like, okay, this goes in the Roddy Piper blackface pile. But they kept it in. I just thought it was wild. I just thought it was
Piper thing,
oh
yeah,
a wild and long segment to have on this show. Definitely would not have picked up. Definitely would not have happened today. Not even in the slightest. Because even when
yeah,
they made their little pop culture, maybe because they were like, okay, we're not in America, so we can like go extra hard. Because they would get more pushback in America. But
yeah.
strange
I mean,
stuff.
if they got this political and racist in America, even back then they would have got pushback. Yeah,
Mm.
but
Because they
yeah,
liked making Bill Clinton jokes. I remember that.
that he never back, but he never really went like, oh, Hillary Clinton is a man. Uh,
No, which
get a bill towards that.
don't get us started.
Okay. Um, Next up, here's another like really uncomfortable. Especially, I know more about like what the British Empire had done to Indian people. I watched Gandhi, and I've done some research and stuff that the last few years. Tiger Ali Singh comes out and dedicates the match to his Indian forefathers who suffered under the tyranny of the British Empire. Gets booed out of the building.
Ooh, yeah.
It's booed out. By the way, the racism in the UK is not talked about enough. Like, I think people have this fucking magical idea the WWE that America is the most racist place on the planet, and everywhere else everyone's just equal and happy. No, 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 no. The UK is proudly racist. They don't even give a shit. Like, they don't have any guilt of what they did in the past. They have not. They just race there to this day. A British guy said to me, "Don't visit London." Recently, it's filled with Pakistani people, and I'm like, okay, well, they're all over New York, and it was fine. So I don't. Oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I don't. What are you talking about? Like, they are just so fucking racist over there. Like beyond. Like, do you know? Like after World War I, like a lot of black soldiers thought they could live in the UK because they believed the thing where the United States is the most racist place on the planet, and basically they were like
Mhm.
chained out to boats by the
Yeah,
British. Told you
I've
that, yeah,
heard that.
yeah. Like no, you think fucking New York is bad? I'm gonna fucking shoot you unless you get on that boat and go back to fucking. You can't immigrate here. Um,
Insane.
just really like the funniest thing is like it's not even like the crowd like was the crowd was with this. So Edge kicked the shit out of this guy. and they just kept beating the shit out of him. Match stunk. I mean, Tiger Ali's thing sucks, but what a weird moment and what a telling moment for the UK crowd to boo this guy talking about oppression. What do you think?
It was a weird win. First of all, it was a weird win. It was for someone to edge who you're putting over, big like making it seem like a big deal. I know Tiger Ali thing had his feet on the ropes, but like, what the fuck? Maybe it was they just wanted it for the heel heat, for the crowd to just get angrier that the that Tiger Ali thing won, which I guess mission accomplished. But yeah, I thought it was fucked up too. It's just kind of they still kind of have this energy. I don't want to call, and I'm not calling anybody at cultaholic or what culture racist. Lil, don't say anything like that. I will say they do harp on Jinder Mahal winning the world championship as like one of the worst decisions in history. Like, which is it's not. I'm not saying it was the best decision, but to act like it was like on par with some of the things that we've seen like they're like you'll watch one of their videos like number two Jinder Mahal, number one Chris Benoit, and you're like no, it's not even that. It's nowhere near that bad. They took it off. I mean, obviously they're trying to get the Indian market. They took a shot with Jinder Mahal, who looked like $1 million, and it did not work at all. But I mean, I guess he's on Busted Open now, so I guess it worked in
Oh, yeah.
some. Yeah, he's one of the new analysts, so good for him. But yeah, they just kind of I feel like these fans at least they go very hard on the Indian wrestlers and this is more Saudi Arabia than the UK. This happens with the black wrestlers. It's like remember when Bianca was getting booed out the building for no reason anytime they went overseas? Like that's fucking crazy. They were doing it to Jade Cargill too. At least Jay was a heel, but like Bianca of all people who's like not she wasn't stale, she wasn't doing anything wrong. They just booed her because it was her. And it's just the really like you said, America's not the most racist place. It's very, very racist. And it
Yeah.
might be the most racist actually, but there are other people on unlike the Benoit Mahal comparison, there's a one and a one A when it comes to racism, which sucks for
I'll tell
for
you, I've Eric Clapton talk about immigrants, and I've heard
oh yeah,
James.
he said some wild shit, right?
Yeah, Eric Clapton
Yeah.
make like Martin Luther King, and James great motherfucker. I mean, like that's the thing. Like, if some of these UK guys had the power that Trump had, I mean, they would just literally be. I think they'd just be like fucking shooting people in the head in the streets. You know?
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Yeah, it's like so. It's like, yeah. I mean, Trump is racist, but also Trump is gonna would be like, oh, that black family bought a house. Yeah, they can have the house. Like, yeah, that's fine. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, but the fucking Eric Clapton would be like, that's my house now. Here, bitch.
Layla is not that good of a song.
Yeah. Eric Clapton would be like, you don't own the house. I own the house. I wrote, I shot the sheriff. You know, like that's the thing. It's like it's a different level. It's a different level because there's no like guilt. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like even the most racist people in America have a little bit of guilt, and they know like, I shouldn't be going down this hard, but I am. But in UK, I'm not doing anything wrong. I just think all Pakistani people should be fucking shot out of a cannon. What's the problem? You know.
Yeah. Which is crazy because Bob Marley wrote I Shot the Sheriff and he covered it, it looks like. Yeah.
But Eric Clapton would be like, no, I wrote it actually. Fuck you.
I mean, he probably would.
I'm Eric
Giant
Clapton.
tangent. Well, yeah, this match sucked. There was no point to it. Very weird to do the edge, who's somebody who you're trying to build up. And you just saw 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, fucking wild. Okay, up next, Vinny Jones comes to the ring. I keep forgetting this guy used to be a big star. He kind of becomes like a loser character actor, but he looks young too. He cuts a big promo in the crowd. The crowd loves him. It's like he's like Jalen
He's
Brunson.
not Indian.
Yeah, they do. It was okay. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's interesting that he's this involved. Michael Cole's with him. What do you think?
I didn't care. I was like, I don't really know who this man is. And I was like, this is something that they're eating up, so good for them.
Yeah, his
Boy, was
crowd.
I wrong. He's here for the long haul on this
They
show.
tried him. So him and Jason Statham kind of come up at the same time. They tried to make them 1A, 1B, and Statham just runs laps around him. And The last time I saw
Mm.
the guy, he was a henchman on Arrow. He wasn't even like a main villain. He was like a
Oh,
henchman.
jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
So I guess this is the true final match for Mark Marrow in WWE. It's Sable and Christian versus Jacqueline and Mark Marrow. This match is one of the main reasons I remember this show. Uh,
Wow. Wow.
it's irrelevant. Jacqueline gets naked. Jacqueline gets her top.
Yes.
Um, I'm wondering when I saw this in '98. I'm like, they're gonna do more nudity. This is what I actually thought. There's gonna be more.
Hmm.
Like, there's gonna be more nudity and they're building to like I thought they were building to like actually like having a porn. Like I that's what you could have my guess in '98 was maybe this was like you're gonna see a Deborah porn, like a softcore porn movie.
I mean,
Um
they had the names, Forcible Entry, and
yeah.
they just used them for albums. Maybe that was the plan. They were gonna make porn and it didn't work, so they just took them and made albums instead. Reckless intent.
So I mean at the time they were like it's an accident. I don't think it was an accident. I think they did this to test the water because they keep teasing that and then they just do it here.
Hmm.
And it's interesting. I kind of feel like the match is irrelevant. It's more about their top ripping, which is like I'm wondering where they thought they were gonna go with this because that's like an all the way moment. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
do that now. Again, there's so many things if you do now. If you like just have Rhea Ripley's top just fall off and she's just standing there. I mean, you're kind of drawing a line, or Thekla, or she just rips her top off at Forbidden Door. You're kind of like making a line in the sand, and you're making an intention. I think the intention was back then was we are eventually going to do porn. Well, what did you think?
I didn't think they were gonna go that far, but they were definitely teasing the nudity, and they do put cross the line a couple more times shortly after this. But
Mhm.
I think this in the UK have like different
They did.
set
Now
standards and stuff.
you can't buy porn anymore unless you like hand over like all your fucking movie. But yeah, but they did back
Oh,
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think they were like, okay, well, this is a way to get away with it, have some fun, test the waters. Because then a year later, we see the cat. This is America. We see the cat do what she does, and we'll get to that. And then Vince McMahon sees there's something about Mary and thinks the drooping breasts are the most funniest things he's ever seen in his life. And then we can get to that too. But porn, boob spoilers aside, yeah, it's the end for Mark Marrow. That's unfortunate for him. I do like that they did play into like, well, which they I don't think they would do much of today. They would just have these people team up. Jacqueline and Mark Merrill broke up, so they are forced and contractually obligated to still team, and they don't like each other. Like Jacqueline's fighting him, not tagging in. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a cool aspect of the match. Christian just kind of being in there seemed like I don't know, maybe someone else was supposed to be there and didn't have anybody, which is why the Brood stuff doesn't make a lot of sense this week because Gangrel's the heel, Edge is the face, Christian is the face today, I guess. But so it's just kind of there. But no, it was cool. It was cool little match. Sable protected very well. The Jacqueline moment, awesome. Like call me pig, I don't give a shit. It was awesome. You got to see boobs on his pay-per-view. It was fucking great. And somebody
Uh,
joked that yeah, like her music plays afterwards, like she won, even though she lost. It's ridiculous.
I basically think that then showed her to have a Legends contract for life with them.
They were like, anytime they think about cutting people, well, we can't cut Jacqueline.
Yeah, look what she did for us. What do you think the reaction would be? So it's Forbidden Door. Let's go with someone who people are. Thekla is like, I think that Sasha Banks gets her top ripped off, and for like 10 seconds we see her breasts. What's the reaction online to that? Because I feel
Uh,
like people couldn't handle it now. Where my reaction was like, oh my god, that's great. We saw Jacqueline's boobs. I wonder who else's boobs we're gonna see before out of business.
well,
And
that's just kind of the energy that they had back then.
exciting, yeah. But I feel like people would just like mentally collapse if Mercedes Monet just her top and like they didn't like it was like oh my god it like was seen for like a good like 7 seconds. What do you think the reaction would be? I
I,
just
I yeah, I don't think people would be happy, especially if it was on purpose. I'd also let's be careful talking about her specifically, the Sammy. Everyone, her fans tracked down everything too. The Sammy Guevara thing from
no
years
no
ago.
hypothetical. She
No,
agreed.
I know it's hypothetical. I'm just been making a lot of disclaimers because I don't want people being like, "Hey, these guys are sexualizing and want this to happen." I don't fucking
I don't want
care.
that.
Yeah,
But this happened. But this my thing is, I'm 17, 18 years old when this happened, and it
yeah,
oh, we're boobs, and then you just move on, and then you're like,
yeah.
I
No, I
want.
think people's brains when it comes to sex, especially like the Gen Z, Gen Alpha. I think Gen Alpha's too young. They're it's just different. Like these are the kids now that don't like sex scenes in movies. Like they
Yeah,
don't want to see kissing and stuff in movies. So for that I remember a few years ago they were doing these weird segments with Alexa Bliss. Like they opened the door and like she wasn't changed, but you saw her like this, and you couldn't see anything but her bare shoulders. And you would have thought you saw the Jacqueline segment with the way people reacted. So I think if that came out of nowhere, there'd definitely be a lot of fans who were like, "Yay, I don't have to make AI art anymore." And then the second, then the other ones would like lose their mind and be like, "I was offended. I was disgusted. This is especially WWE, which is the quote sex pest company end quote. That is not where they would want to see it." Well, you said it's Mercedes Monet.
yes, it.
They would have
Feel like
AEW would have gotten a little bit of a pass.
WWE, I just feel like the reaction, no matter who it is and no matter who agreed to it, the reaction would be like moral hand wringing. But my point is like I do kind of like we're going backwards as people, and I'm not saying that at the
I
pay.
think so too.
I'm not saying that like the pay-per-views should have um Rhea Ripley or Stephanie Beck flash the audience. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that like this wasn't that big of a deal. My mind
Mm,
was more on what is Austin going to do in McMahon. It was a
yeah.
Easter egg, and then we moved on. Whereas I feel
Yeah.
like no one could move on from this if it happened now.
No, there would be 5 videos about it. Stevie Richards would talk about there'd be one video on each boob from Stevie Richards. Yeah, they would not have been able to leave it on. There would have been articles, there would have been this, there would have been that. Somebody with a blue check would have talked about how disgusted they are. Somebody would have been like, "Oh, you're a snowflake, fuck off." So there would have been just so many contrasting views over titties.
Okay, so this is the role I'm pitching. All right, here we go.
Oh
Brock
God.
Lesnar, hold on. Lyra Valkyrie gets impregnated by Uma Femi, and then he dumps her. And then in the third segment, Roxanne Perez takes off her top willingly and stands there. And
I
until
don't
and that's the role we have so far. Oh, and then
That's
the
the role you have so far.
fourth segment, people gets thrown in a body bag and sent to the insane asylum by the other members of the Alpha Academy. So those are your four. So far.
Oh my God. I don't condone ChatGPT. I want to see what ChatGPT is like. Book this show, please. At the
I
end
want
of this.
Bruce Bridges'
Because
reaction.
you use ChatGPT. So
Like, wait a minute, what do you
do
say?
that.
No, she just takes over. It's Netflix, right? She just takes over top, and then what happens? Well,
I mean it is Netflix.
after 20 seconds, Donna Castillo covers her up, but we got
But
to
she
get
just stands there.
outraged, you know.
My goodness. What a raw.
But but these are it's like well, you guys did these things like that.
Yeah, she's hard to. It's instead of like WrestleMania Rewind night, it's storyline rewind night, and they're just doing old storylines again, and they pick the worst ones. I would actually be into storyline rewind night.
Uh, no. The fifth segment is Adam Pierce comes out and he accuses Jalen Brunson of being gay for Elliot Page. That's the fifth segment.
Why is Jalen Brunson?
He's the closing I can think of Vinny Jones like, right now.
Okay, there you go.
And
He is a
then
big wrestling fan.
Triple H walks out with him and says, "Wouldn't it be horrible if a Pakistani guy became the president?" That's and then
Is this the Raw at the Garden? Is this Raw at Madison Square Garden?
And yeah, and, yes, and then hold on, I'm not done. And then what's his name? Indashir returns to
Okay.
complain how ISIS treated them and how the British people have treated them. And then fucking fucking I'm trying to think here. Logan Paul comes out, beats the shit out of them. There you go. That's
Still humble.
that's
Oh my God.
he beats them up and says it's great. I love the British Empire. There you go.
Do they have Indian wrestlers right now? Or they fire everybody?
No, I think they get. By the way, really quick, I like that Jinder won the belt, and I'll tell you why. I think it's good every now and then for someone that no one expects and thinks
Yes.
everyone's the loser to win the world title, because then it falsely gives you the idea that anything can happen. When I'm talking about when Sheamus beat John Cena, and I think you need to do that every now and then.
Hmm.
I would have Javon Evans or someone else to of that kind like Penta beat Roman Reigns because it's like anything can happen. LA Knight beat Roman Reigns. Like you want to give people the impression that anything can happen. And I think sometimes it's good to just be like, nope, Ginger's the guy. He's the champ. Go fuck yourself. You know?
No, I
So
agree. I mean, it worked with JBL. I know this is somebody who was like, I'm not gonna watch SmackDown anymore. No, the JBL champion, which I fucking watch next week. But it's also like 18 years old.
like this guy's the world champion. Get over it. And
Yeah, no, I watched. I wanted him to lose. Um, the writing has to help complement it, and I think if the writing, even if Jinder held it for a few months, and then which he did, like if he dropped it like Shinsuke at SummerSlam, which he didn't do. But I think people would have been like, all right, fine. Like just give him something. I do like that. I like that the anything can happen aspect, especially if you have two world championships. Like you should like a title, not all the time, but the title should be changing hands. You could look at the year. I'm glad AJ Styles had a year-long run, but he could have lost that title to Samoa Joe. That title could have gone back and forth, and I don't think anybody would have been upset about it, especially with the two caliber athletes of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. But instead, and they do these storylines, AJ beats Joe every single time, and then you're like, all right, well now what do you do with Samoa Joe? And then
I
AJ
think
loses, you know.
I think that's a strength of McMahon that Triple H doesn't have, where it's just like that's it. Random guy number A is the top guy because I said he is, and that's what we're doing, and we all need to get on board with that. They did that with Yokozuna, they did that with JBL, they did that with Jinder Mahal, and there was someone else we brought up that they did that with. Uh, but you just basically are like, okay, Brock left, the APA guys, the new Brock. Fuck
They
you.
did it. It worked last year. It was on a smaller scale, but they gave JC Jane the women's championship in NXT. She beat Stephanie Vakira, who was on Raw, who was like a top star, and then even the who Lainey Reed, who eventually joins Fatal Influence, is like she's the most beatable champion ever, and JC has this incredible run. So it works, and well, until they kind of went cold on them, Fatal Influence came on the SmackDown strong.
But yeah, and I think like that could have he get Triple H gets cold feet. I mean, the Obafemi thing, he got cold feet, and they're still going to do it, but it's I don't know if it's going to matter as much. But yeah, sometimes you just have to snap your fingers, and it's like that's it. And you know,
Oh, oh yeah.
I didn't want JBL as the top heel, but now I look back, I'm like, yeah, that was the right call. He didn't have much to work with. Brock fucked him, so sometimes you have to just work with what you have. And that worked in 98 and it worked in 2004. And let me tell you something, they set up, I think because JBL had a run where people wanted him to lose and he didn't lose. When he lost to Cena, that set up Cena pretty fucking good. So it all worked out.
Yeah. No, it really did. I think if what they had the opportunity, they didn't go with it. If you gave that title to Jacob Fatu, it would have been a big shock because you're expecting Bloodline 2.0 again, and then Jacob beats Roman. You're like, oh shit, now what's gonna happen with the blood? And then Roman takes his breaks and stuff. Uh, they just didn't. They didn't.
Yeah, they can't make a JBL. How sad is that?
Uh, they can't make a JBL. It's the first time I've heard that sentence. But Yeah.
All right.
Dannhausen is not in attendance at the parade, apparently.
Oh wow. Well, he
Maybe
ruined my.
they'll film something. I don't know.
Maybe they'll do an angle where like he got jumped by Dominic Mysterio. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't really. I'm glad I'm not at the parade. Maybe if Daniel saw that crowd, he was like, like I would be my
Maybe. Maybe.
Do I really need to be that over? Okay, so up next, Ken Shamrock versus Steve Blackman. This was what it was. It's okay. Big boss man. The corporation's in full effect now. What'd you think of this match? It was okay. It wasn't like the greatest.
There was nothing really special about it. It was just kind of there. They're both guys are kind of flat right now. Steve
Yeah,
Blackman gets pretty flat until 2000 when he changes his music and he's without Snow and he has a dum da da dum da da, and then everyone fell in love with Steve Blackman.
he's the only person who ever benefited from El Snow. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
The Rock. So I know they didn't think anyone was going to see this show because The Rock repeats this on Raw a few days.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Tries everyone's catchphrase. Very very funny. Very very good promo. I honestly he could do this. He could come on SmackDown tomorrow and redo this promo, and I would fucking eat it up. What do you think?
Oh, I liked it when I saw it on Raw. So I liked it when he did it here. I was just kind of like I didn't know if this was like a catchphrase because it was both here. I didn't know if this was like a catchphrase they were trying for The Rock or not. But I guess yeah, he did. He was at the this was the open mic for him. Did it at the mics, it worked well, and then he did it on the show. Also worked well.
Yeah. So up next, it's the Battle of the Mids. The two guys
Oh
who
my God.
in WWE in the mid 2000s. They put the mid in the mid 2000s. Just that should be their fucking. They should be. Oh, Triple H retired. But
Put
that
this on the vault, see how people react.
they would have been a great fucking tag team. In like 2004, like just these two guys who are not good enough, holding everyone down, and like that's their gimmick as like a fucking two. That would have been they would have been a great two-man power trip. Now that I think about it, just the mid off. That's what I could have
I am good.
mid trip. It's Jeff Jarrett versus Triple H. As far as I know, this is their only match. And does do two mids make a must watch? Not, I don't know. I will say this is the best, and I thought this in '98, and I'm like, was I just like a horny 17-year-old? But no, I can say this show was like probably one of the best China looked. Uh,
Mm.
I thought she looked really good on this show, and that's held true on this rewatch. This was good. This wasn't the greatest, but this was good. Triple H wins, which I agree with. I think Triple H is just slightly above Jeff Jarrett, but interesting to see these two losers have a mid off. What do you think?
It's a mind it should be on the vault this match because I would love to see the reactions that people would have because they can't stand Jeff Jarrett and they can't stand Triple H. So to see these two in their mid card eras, having this one match, it's kind of mind boggling. I didn't even know they fought until this show.
Oh,
Um,
that's why I like these
so-
UK have like weird matches like this. Yeah.
yeah, the match was fine. It was fine. Nothing offensive. Deborah was doing a lot of work outside and like running from China and things like that. China did look great. She looked cool. The start, or at least our first interaction with Jeff Jarrett in China ever, and then a year later, we get what we get. But no, I thought it was interesting. It would definitely. It's more interesting just seeing that, knowing that they had the parallel careers in the mid 2000s in terms
Yeah.
of fan reaction, to them being like the doom of whatever show you were watching. So that's probably the most interesting part about it. But match wise, it's fine. Just like how people think Triple H and Jeff Jarrett are, just fine.
Yeah.
I think Triple H didn't get as much shit that he gets as a wrestler online that he gets because people try and take the moments that are actually like good that he did and like, it was nothing, which is I don't think that's fair. Jeff Jarrett, I'm sure has those moments too. I'm not as well versed in
That's
the
the more
TNA history.
speed for it. Triple H has the more. And they're both. Triple H is definitely above Jeff Jarrett in my personal rankings, but also so is
I mean, me too, but but I just don't. I'm sure not everything that happened on TNA with Jeff Jarrett was the worst thing ever. Is what I was
well,
trying to say.
we're gonna. I've come unless because TNA is in bad shape right now. Unless
They got a
TNA
lot going on.
streaming services collapses, we are gonna do the weekly pay-per-views when we get to 2002. I think that would be a
Oh,
thing to do.
yay!
Yeah.
So,
Well,
a lot of
I
Jeff Jarrett.
yeah, we got to do it. It's pay-per-view. It counts. You had to order on pay-per-view. It counts. It's. But we'll let's see what happens when we get there. For all we know, fucking TKO buys all this footage and like buries it, and you'll be arrested by the government if you try to access it. All right, here we go.
TNA Vault.
We got a long way to go till we get there. It's D'Lo Brown doing London. Very nice that he got to spend time with his European. He is the champ of Europe. So it's nice that he got time to spend with his people. I thought this was pretty good. Again, I'm seeing these segments in '98. I really thought D'Lo, Val Venus, Gangrel, Edge, X Pac were gonna be the main eventers of the 2000s. I think one of the worst things that happened to a lot of these guys is the radicals jumping over because even though only two become genuine main eventers, I think those two took up a lot of slots that Vince had in mind for some of these guys. But I thought this was a fun little segment. What do you think of D'Lo checking out his people?
I think at that point, the 2000s, these guys were already done. Besides Edge,
Well,
Christian.
it's interesting. Well, when we get to we have to rewatch some of the matches.
When we rewatch it, yes. But this is just from my base memory.
Edition in January of 2000, you remember. But anyway,
What happened January 2000?
some of these guys are in a higher position than you remember in January
Oh,
2000.
okay. Yeah, yeah, I don't remember. So you might be right. But no, I thought it was cool. I thought it was a great character for D'Lo Brown. I thought that was a cool thing as a European champion for him to do, him getting corrected by like Europeans be like, hey, that's not what it's called. And he's like, I'm the champ, I don't give a shit. And running into like real fans and back what you could when you could do that, you probably couldn't do that now. Have a real fan just kind of be in the video, but D'Lo, and then you use it. You got too many crazy people. Um, no, that was a well done segment.
Yeah. Up next, it's the New Age Outlaws versus I guess what's ever left of the nation, Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown. It's okay. Listen, New Age Outlaws is over, but I just they don't they don't have good tag matches. But it was fine. It was fine. It was okay. What did you think of this match?
Another one that's fine. The Outlaws are entrants. They're all entrants usually. People want to do it. They want to sing the song. I mean, they want to do the words, and they got a chance to do the words. And then the tag match was what it was. It kind of seemed like it was another one that was just there to be there, like it's on the house show circuit, because they're not really feuding with D'Lo and Mark Henry anymore, to my
Yeah,
knowledge, unless they went back into the nation, because they teased the corporation again. They're like, one of them might join the corporation, or the Outlaws might join.
either the DX feuding with the corporation, but this was like their
Yeah, yeah. This was their house show loop match, and that's just kind of how it seemed.
yeah. Up next, in this match is why I thought like X Pac is going to get the big push in like '99 or 2000. Is The Rock versus X Pac. Uh,
Hmm.
this is one of the few world title shots X Pac gets, and it's on pay per view, and he steps up. He is making a point that you need to elevate me the way you elevated Sean, and you're going to elevate Triple H. They used to have a really good match for Rock's first title defense. Has a big fight feel. These two really had good chemistry in the ring. Again, I was expecting X Pac to elevate. Instead, he gets X Pac heat and then makes one night in China. But I mean, he's ready.
Yeah.
He's making the case that I'm ready. Fucking start taking me more seriously. Um, Rock wins by disqualification. It's a DX corporation battle. Overall, I really enjoyed it. What do you think?
No, this is probably the best match on the show, in terms of in-ring work. Is X-Pac. That's it. They say he if you have a bad match with Sean Waltman, then you don't deserve to be in the WWE, is what they were saying. I know he said about Jericho and some other people. So that match was good. The Rock is coming into his own as a heel champion. You get a lot of like interference, more on DX's end, was interesting. In terms of X-Pac's career, I think the injury, because he gets injured sometime in '99, and that really just derailed him. And by the time he came back, things changed so much because X-Pac was a very popular, like X-Pac and Kane were a huge act, and that's
Yeah,
like the
I
summer of '99.
think it's 2001 he gets injured. It's not 99. Because
He disappeared sometime in 2000, '99,
um,
2000.
a lot of 2000.
What happened?
He's around for a lot. He has a match. He's at the Royal Rumble. He's at
Oh
No Way.
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I think this happened the last time we said it. You know what did derail him? They brought back DX, and then and then when Billy Gunn got hurt, they turned him heel. They didn't pull the trigger with the Kane match at WrestleMania, and they did it the month before. And they had some weird ass Rikishi match for WrestleMania 2000, and then he was teaming with the Road Dogg, and then that just kind of sealed his fate. You just kind of got tired of him, which was just a big pivot. I guess bringing back DX for the fifth fucking time was did not help anybody, but yeah. If that didn't happen, maybe things would have been different for him. But here he's that guy. He's that person that everyone likes, and would like if he was on the surprises to win the world championship. Back then, I don't think anybody would have been upset. They were like, "Oh, cool, awesome, well deserved."
He could have beat The Rock in this month for the title. People would have been invested. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally,
They would
totally.
have definitely been shocked. Wouldn't have helped The Rock one bit.
And the one
But
bit people would not have been like, "What? That's crazy." Now they
yeah.
would. Would you think X Pac could have beat fucking The Rock for the title? You don't know wrestling. Oh, we lost break. Um,
Oh, Will Ospreay.
yeah. So anyway, okay, now we get to the main event. And again, this is when forward matches were still chaotic brawls, which I love. The one thing I forgot that they did in this match, which I really liked, was Vince joins commentary as an evil heel announcer, and
Yeah.
doing that a lot back then. I remember having the theory that he wanted to step away from being an on-air character and go back to the booth and have Shane take over the corporation. That was like kind of like my, I think that was maybe one of his things he was toying with.
Hmm.
And obviously Shane couldn't carry the ball and Vince had to be the lead. But I love the fact he's on commentary, basically like doing an evil version of his commentary character, which is very,
Yeah.
very I don't think Vince should be brought back, but if somebody said if I was Triple H or Nick Khan and TKO put a gun to my head, I was like Vince McMahon's coming back, I would be like I would fucking put a line and say like, okay, as a commentator, he's got to be a heel commentator, like he's got to like
Yeah.
back to this if he has to come back, not in creative, not as a manager, not as a commentator, because he can be really funny as a commentator. But match is the Austin match, and they love it. This is a fun way to send the crowd home happy. This is a nice showcase of these four guys at the peak of their popularity. I enjoyed this main event. What did you think?
No, it was a good main event. I do like that they were attacking each other during the entrances. Like that's how much they wanted to get a hold of each other. They were beating each other up during the entrances. And no, it's definitely a match. It's like I call these like video game matches. This is not a match that you normally would see, especially on today's show. This is the match where the four of you have no mercy or WrestleMania 2000, and your friend picks Austin, the other one picks Kane, Undertaker, Mankind, and you just have a ball. And that's what this match was like. It was interesting hearing Vince as the why I don't know character as a heel. That was fun, and it would have been nice to see a little more of it, but it was what it was. But no, this match was cool, and then they do all the shenanigans, and they bring back the guy, and the crowd loves it. But yeah, Vinnie Jones, and it was a good way to end the night.
I
Sucked
would
that
say
Kane had to take the pin, but someone had to take the pin. I guess he was the weakest character at
building
that time.
Rock, and they're building, and Austin's got to fight Undertaker in a few weeks, so
Yeah,
they
another
got
one. Oh boy, we gotta watch another one.
yeah. Overall, I would say that if you want to see what the house show loop was like in 1998 and you just want to shut your brain off, This is a good show. If you have no interest in 1998, if you're like, if you want to feel, yeah, yeah, I didn't age well, oh, then don't watch this. But I overall enjoyed it. It's not the greatest thing in the world. It's got little to no consequences, but I mean, it's on Netflix, and if you pay for Netflix and you want to watch Gangrel uncut, uncensored, this is the show. What do you think?
Yeah, I think look, you won't lose anything if you don't watch it, but if you do want to just check something out from 1998 that's random, or see a random Fatal Four Way, or xenophobia and racism, you can do that too.
Yeah, you always need some xenophobia, especially when it comes from the McMahons. All right, and what's great is now they're bringing their xenophobia to the White House, where it really matters. Okay, so
Yep, not today.
the next 4 weeks, let's go over. Next week it's Rock Bottom 98. The main event is Steve Austin versus Undertaker in a Buried Alive match. In 2 weeks, it's Starrcade 98, the season finale of 1998, featuring Kevin Nash versus Goldberg. In 3 weeks, it's the season premiere of 1999, featuring featuring It's Guilty as Charged 99, featuring Shane Douglas versus Taz. And then in 4 weeks, Sold Out 99, Goldberg versus Scott Hall in a ladder match. What are you looking forward to?
You know what? We're gonna go with Starcade because that's the big one. It's gonna be a lot of discussion on that one.
That's the big one. I recently listened to Conrad and JBL discuss that show.
Fuck,
And
neither one of them was there.
well, yeah, well, it was more of a show about Goldberg's career, but he asked
Okay.
Goldberg, but he asked JBL if he watched Arcade '98, and he went,
Yeah.
well, later after the fact, and I think it was great that Kevin Nash beat him. You got to beat people sometimes, and I'm like, but he actually, JB actually said the follow up wasn't that good. I like sometimes when they actually reveal that they are watching.
Yeah.
Because I I will get into it then, but the follow up. If they had done a better follow up, I might have been more forgiving. But
Yeah, I think that's one of the big cruxes of it. Because it's not like Nash was, even though we were just advocating for mid-carders winning the title, Nash was their second biggest star, or arguably their biggest
right
star.
now,
So for him to be the one to be, it's not the worst idea. It's just the execution and then the follow through, which we'll get into all of that next week.
yeah, if you're pitching that Goldberg has to lose, well, yeah, if you're pitching that Goldberg has to lose for his character to advance, I agree with you. But the fact is, Goldberg lost, and then that led to Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan main eventing a pay per view 2 months later. And that to me is like, no, that's unforgivable. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do Hogan Flair, but that shouldn't
I mean, in
equal.
'99, you shouldn't do Hogan Flair.
But
But I said in '99, you shouldn't be doing Hogan Flair. But as your main event,
if you're going to do it, it shouldn't be at the expense of Goldberg, which basically
yeah. Especially when you have money on the table with a Goldberg Hogan rematch, which I guess Hogan, we'll get into it.
get to it. We'll get to it. All right. You got anything to plug, Kyle?
Uh, if this is out by the 20th, Character Select Comedy, my birthday show. Birthday is the 19th. 20th is the show. So please come to the show. See me after. We'll be going to a bar to celebrate me. And Juneteenth, I guess. But just and Brotaku on June 27th at Eastville Comedy Club. All day we'll be doing nerdy things from 12 to 5, different gaming tournaments and Pokemon card battles, and then Pokemon championships from five starting from 5 o'clock. So sign up if you are a fan of Pokemon and want to play Pokemon Champions.
Yeah. And as for me, I'm doing my thing out here. Please subscribe to the podcast. Give us a review, leave us a comment, just tell people about it. We're having a good time. We're about to reach 1999, which a lot to talk about there, and
Oh
a lot
yeah.
to talk about the next few weeks. So it should be a fun couple episodes up ahead.
Yeah, no, lots going on.
Lots going on. All right, guys, we will see you next time where we're going to hit rock bottom. We'll see you then.